Dear friends, welcome back. For today and the next few episodes, Sarah and I will have the wonderful and distinct pleasure of discussing holiness for housewives. I've titled our talk, The Presence of God for Mothers. So, this book came to Sarah's heart when we were discussing, a few months ago what we were going to talk about. And she looked to the back of this book and she saw the very first recommendation for reading was Brother Lawrence's work, which we took up, a little bit ago. So, following in that train, I'm going to bring up a few little facts, for the broader context and shows. You can go watch that. But let's refresh all of our minds. Who was Brother Lawrence? What was his general practice? And then we'll go very quickly into its application for housewives and other working women. Brother Lawrence was born 1614 to 1691. He was after the Protestant Reformation, before the French Revolution, in that beautiful time known as the Catholic Reformation. Alan Schreck, a noted scholar, will state, Catholic historian will state, there had been other ecumenical councils concerned with the reform of the Catholic Church before the Council of Trent. Trent was different because most of the reforms were actually carried out and put into effect. Catholic mysticism, which this is going to be in that heading, if you will, flourished as well. Teresa of Avila and John of the Cross, Carmelite mystics, and doctors of the church. And those two mighty thinkers are going to be very quick in his biography of suggested reading for housewives. And we'll get to that because I found that interesting. And we were called that mysticism is defined as a direct apprehension of God by the mind. Dom Zeller, so that's our author, mentions Brother Lawrence, these Carmelite giants that mothers should read. So that was one of the first things I noticed, if you will, before just taking a little look, a little back here, see what Sarah's thinking and all that. He is not talking down to the housewife. If you've got someone's telling you should, he's saying, avail yourselves of a John of the Cross. He has a very high opinion. That person would have a high opinion of mothers. And I like that. Brother Lawrence's thesis statement from the introduction by Hannah Whitall Smith. His, Brother Lawrence, one single aim was to bring about, and listen to the individual points, and they're written out in show notes on my website. One single aim was to bring about a conscious, personal union between himself and God, and he took the shortest cut he could find to accomplish it. The result can be described, and this is in the words of the critical edition that I used. If I dare use the expression, I should choose to call this state the bosom of God, for the inexpressible sweetness which I taste and experience there. Note the direct correlation to the Sacred Heart of Jesus, Margaret Mary Alacoque, when we're talking about the bosom of God. And she too was a mystic of that wonderful era of Catholic Reformation. Father Ceruba will express Brother Lawrence's simple life as centered on the presence of God, infinitely admired, faithfully sought after, and sweetly experienced. There you go.
All that in a nutshell.
There you go.
That's like 5 weeks of teaching in 4 minutes.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it's interesting how God generally has a tendency to write to us in kind of a spiral, right? I mean, you don't know someone, you hear him, and then he just keeps revisiting you, in your words, in your prayers. God draws you closer and closer into union with these holy men and women, really, for the purpose of, first of all, his glory, but for our own sanctification. And I think that Brother Lawrence, particularly in this world which seems to have an increasing external darkness, really Brother Lawrence's message of living an interior life that is in constant union with God is so very, very necessary for the peace of mind of all of the people, particularly stay-at-home moms, but I think really dealing with the lives of children, because we have such an inordinate influence really on the tranquility and peace of the next generation.
That's right. That's right. Yes. Yes. Yes.
Maybe there is also something in that where we begin to see how that lack of peaceful mothers in the home probably has had a lot to do to add to the anxiety and stress of the current generation, that unfortunately, how you were saying at the very beginning about how when Dom von Zeller is talking about addressing women to read, especially housewives and stay-at-home moms, to read spiritual works of mysticism like St. John of the Cross and St. Teresa of Avila and Brother Francis, or Brother Lawrence rather, that he's not condescending to us, that rather he truly recognizes that the mother is the heart of the home, and that the heart and the family writ large in society is going to beat with the rhythm of her heart, and when that presence is gone, and when she's not formed, right? When not only is she gone or absent, or even if she's present but not formed, there really is a decided lack of spiritual maturity that's going to go on within the domestic church, which is the home, and then that would pass through to the church at large.
That's right. I've recently, I don't know, mental health
Yeah.
is, I think I keep encountering it within the circles of people I know. And I think we've all seen some articles, right, on the devastation of what's the past few years in a particular way. I think for quite a few, it was perhaps maybe the bridge too far. There wasn't enough structure, or there wasn't enough substance within the individual for whatever reason, for many reasons, right? That a lot of people have been left very, very wounded, very, very wounded. And
That's why I do think that this books like these are a good antidote. There is, everything is not chemical. There's a lot of spiritual hunger. People have a need for something that they keep thinking that like we've said before, the lie that health comes at the end of a needle.
that's right. That's right.
And we really need to get away from that, because the human person is not just a body that responds to chemicals. The human person is also, it's an ensouled body, or a bodied soul, right? That we have to take care of both of those elements of the human condition. And I think it has to be fairly obviously stated that there has been a real dearth of authentic teaching and instructing people on how to pray, thinking that it was just going to be intuited by people, that they would just know. And I had said to my husband the other day, with apologies to Margaret Thatcher, but in reference to libertarianism, that libertarianism is great until you run out of other people's morality. Well, I think the same could be said about the church. The church is great until you run out of somebody else's spirituality, and we have run the well dry, and it's incumbent upon particularly mothers to rediscover these these depths, these wells that are just, they're brimming, right? I mean, they're just waiting to be tapped. There are resources that are waiting to be tapped, so that the hearts of mothers can be full, so that she can then bring that depths of spirituality and instruction back to her family, and through her family to the world.
That's right. That's right. All right, my friends, we're going to pick up with who is Dom Hubert von Zeller in the next episode. Till then, Fide Sed Ratio.